Hey everyone, I am back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. I hope that you've had a wonderful week. For those of you who tune in every single Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, welcome back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. For those of you who are tuning in for the very first time, welcome, welcome. It's Dr. Hammond here. We are here live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. And for those of you who are tuning in to the replay on Dr. Nekeshia Hammond YouTube page, be sure to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the page. But welcome, welcome. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Let me know where you're tuning in from today in the chat. For those of you who are new to Mental Health Moment, I reside in the Tampa Bay area of Florida. And for those of you new to Mental Health Moment is all about how do you work on becoming the best version of who you are so you can show up powerfully for yourself and for the people around you, right? Extremely important. So we're here every week talking about different ways, mental health, mental wellness, all the things, different ways to really make sure you're living and thriving, right? Not just living, but also thriving and not just surviving, right? But again, let me know where you're tuning in from in the chat. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. I have some announcements. However, actually, I don't have announcements. I will have announcements for you all. So for those of you who are not new to Mental Health Moment, I always tell you all when I have a speaking engagement, which is open to the public, I will definitely, of course, let you all know. And I do have some coming up this summer, but anyways, once I get the links from the events to share with you all, I'll definitely be sharing that. So that hopefully you can register and I can meet you all in person. But again, thanks for joining here. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Let me know where you're tuning in from today in the chat. So of course, if you didn't recall from a couple weeks ago, I was sharing with you all, this is Mental Health Awareness Month. It's one of my favorite months of the year because we celebrate mental health all month long, right? So if you did miss it, by the way, so I've had some special guests this month, which has been pretty cool. So if you did miss it, the replays will be on Dr. Nekeshia Hammond YouTube page. But a couple weeks ago, we had BJ Daniels, who is a former NFL, well, a Super Bowl champion, I should say, a Super Bowl champion, mental health champion, doing so many things in the community to advocate for mental health. So we had him on there, which was an amazing interview. Learned so much, and I hope you all learned a lot as well. And then last week we had just one of the most amazing people I know personally. Her name's Dr. Akia Keith. She's a WNBA contributor. She's an international speaker. She does so many things. She advocates so hard for mental health and wellness, also working with youth, working with families. Like there's so much that she does actually. She's also hosting a conference, which some of you may have heard about last week. That's coming up, coming up very, very shortly here. So those have been a couple guests. Next week, I will have my final guest for Mental Health Awareness Month, which is going to be Dr. Ann Hester. She is also amazing. She's a double certified physician. She's going to talk to us about, she talks about lifestyle medicine, right? She has the physician point of view. How do we work on preventing burnout, which of course is something we talk about a lot on Mental Health Moment. Of course, I share from the mental health and wellness standpoint, but I'm so curious to hear all of her thoughts and her expertise from the physical side, right? Because we all know that how we treat ourselves physically also affects our mental health and vice versa. So she will be here next week. That will be, let me make sure I'm giving you the correct date. So Tuesday, May 26th. So again, mark your calendar. So Tuesday, May 26th, same time, same place, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. I will have Dr. Hester on the show. And let me see. Yeah, I just want to make sure I have the right date here. Yes. So we'll be concluding Mental Health Awareness Month with Dr. Hester. And just so you all know, because I've heard some of your comments, I probably will occasionally be having more guests on the show, on Mental Health Moment show, because I really love hearing I loved hearing people's stories, thus far. And of course, you all have different perspectives that you all can learn from. So that's coming up here soon too. But I'll definitely let you all know, of course, when I know who's going to be on the show. Okay, those are all my announcements. I have more announcements, but I'll announce it when I actually know, as I mentioned. But okay, so today's mental health moment. If you're just tuning in, Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. We are here live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. Today, we are talking about, especially because it's Mental Health Awareness Month. We've talked about it before on Mental Health Moment, the importance of checking in with yourself, right? But I want to remind you, and today's Mental Health Moment is really about thinking about, how are you really living, right? You may be functioning, but are you really okay? Right? Like really asking yourself that question. Like, are you just functioning or are you okay? Because what I found is a lot of times many of us can be guilty of this. Like we think that just because we are getting up and maybe going to work, you can say like I went to work and I checked my email and I ate today and I slept today. I'm good, right? Like you're functioning, you're doing the things or you're checking off the things to do, but are you really okay? Right? Like are you how are you doing, right? Like asking yourself that. It's so important. It is so easy. I've said this many times on Mental Health Moment, but I'll repeat it and reiterate, especially for Mental Health Awareness Month, that it's so easy for us to get caught up in our personal lives, what's going on in the world, social media, you name it. There's a lot out there, right? And then we start to neglect ourselves, right? But I want you to think about, really asking yourself the question, like, am I surviving or am I living? Like, are you just going through the motions of life or are you allowing yourself to experience joy? Are you allowing yourself to work on your mental health, work on your wellness, whatever that looks like for you? Right. And thanks for those who are still starting to join here. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. It's funny, so for those of you who don't know, I wrote a book series actually called Mindset Training. And what's always interesting to me as an author is that I never know. I mean, I write a book, right? I write different concepts and, different tips and things like that, but I wouldn't know necessarily what's going to resonate with people. And what's interesting is there was this chapter I wrote about giving yourself permission to heal, which apparently struck a nerve with a lot of people, between podcasters and just people I've talked to. A lot of people have talked about that chapter. And I just bring that up today because I really want to remind you that it really does take first a step of, asking yourself, are you really giving yourself permission to heal? Like that's kind of step one, right? Like, and when I say that, I don't mean you go up, yep, I want to heal and you're magically healed. If only we had magic wands to do that. But it is a step in even saying to yourself, whatever it is you need to heal from, you say, okay, I'm giving myself permission to heal. Whether it's something you did that you regret, whether it's something someone did to you, whether it's something that was in your childhood, whether it's something that's in your current life, whatever it is, um, it's a healing journey, right? So again, it starts with giving yourself permission. Some of you are in a place where you're like, you know what, Dr. Hammond, like I am not in a position or I'm not ready to give myself that permission. That's okay. That's actually a part of the healing journey. And some of you are like, yep, I give myself permission. Like I'm ready to start or continue this healing journey wherever you're at. Right. But my point is, wherever you're at with this, it really does take a matter of you really like checking in with yourself. Are you being emotionally present to yourself? Right. I feel like there's so much information, you all, in society, like, and not that it's not important. Like, take care of others. Please do. Yes. Take care of others. Take care of your responsibilities. Take care of the, work-life balance, which is important. However, it's also important for you to be taking care of yourself. Right. So again, thanks for those who are starting to join here. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Let me know in the chat where you might be tuning in from today. You know what? And sometimes, like today, apparently, my chat will come in very late. I mean, my comments, they'll come in really late, but still let me know where you're tuning in from in the chat. Hopefully they will come up through the live. I just never know with technology. So who knows? But again, don't, when you're kind of in a place where you can have some reflection, which would be amazing, right, for yourself. Also, don't only look at how you're doing by like what you're doing. So if you're like, yep, I did a lot of work today, or yep, I got things done today. Yep, I checked off 10 things off my to-do list. That may be how productive you were, but how are you doing? Like physically, how are you doing? Emotionally, how are you doing? Spiritually, how are you doing? Mentally, how are you doing? Right? Because, and right? All of us know like you can be really productive and literally be falling apart inside, right? You could be checking off the list of all the things you got done and you are struggling emotionally or mentally or physically or spiritually or whatever area of your life, right? So again, I just want to, hammer that part home to make sure that you are checking in with yourself, and asking yourself how you are doing. It's really hard to make changes if you don't know how you're doing. It just is, right? We just gloss over that. The second thing I want to share with you today is to make sure that you pay attention to the small, kind of like the warning signs too, right? That, maybe I'm not doing okay, right? Like, because what happens is, and what I've heard a gazillion times, is that we tend to think when we think of mental health, unfortunately, we think of it as like this big, huge thing. Like you have to have this massive breakdown and then your mental health is not okay. But it's like, well, hold on a second, because there's small, well, more minor things that happen to us. There's some warning signs that maybe not as serious, right? Let's not wait until we're at the point where we're completely broken down and falling apart, but also look at the things like how is your eating habits? How are your sleeping habits? How do you feel? Like what's your energy level? Like um like what is your social life like? What is your desire to do your work or to take care of kids or grandkids or your community or whomever it is or whatever it is around you that maybe you're a caregiver, like whatever that looks like for you, how are you doing in those areas of your life, right? And are you finding that you're so mentally exhausted, you're drained, or your energy's good, right? And that, of course, it varies depending on what's happening in life, but it's really important to understand that like hopefully we don't get to the place where we wait until that emotional exhaustion is just to our breaking point. Like, let's try to think of like, okay, now we know here's some warning signs. Let me maybe put in more self-care. Maybe that's what you need. Maybe you need, I'd like to preach, take a minute, right? Maybe you need to take more minutes for yourself. I am not even asking you all to take like whole mental health days anymore. Not that they're not important, and put a big asterisk on that. Please take your mental health days. I love taking mental health days, frankly. But we are busy. Like all of us are busy. There's a lot happening in the world. So in addition to those, so don't take those away, but instead of stressing, because sometimes you might be like, I don't have time to take a free weekend, or I don't have time for a mental health day, or whatever it is. Again, think of taking a minute for yourself, 60 seconds, time yourself with a timer. I take a lot of minutes, let me tell you. But start with one. If you're in a place where you're telling yourself things like, I don't have time for self care, all of those sorts of things, then you take the minute, right? And you work on getting your mind and body to a calmer place, which we've talked about at length on mental health moment. If you're not new to mental health moment, because it is important that we reset our nervous systems. Absolutely positively important, especially when you get into the place of self-awareness, yay, and you realize, man, I'm feeling a lot more mentally tired. Sometimes it's not even physical. Like your physical body can be doing okay, but mentally you're exhausted. Like you might be thinking about all sorts of things from, what you have to do today, tomorrow, the next day, next year. Like something happened to someone else in your life, like all of that, it's a lot, right? So you may be having more mental exhaustion, which means you have to give your brain a break in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's just, I was reading, oh man, I meant to save that article for you all. But I was reading this thing recently about like truly how powerful deep breathing is. Like it is so powerful to reset your mind and your body, like mentally, emotionally, physically, like really to reset. And it was talking about, was an article also talking about how you have to really take your time with this deep breathing, but it really works on lowering your cortisol levels, right? Which is our stress hormone in our body. Like we don't need to be building up a whole bunch of stress hormones in our body and inflammation. And we know what that does, right? On the physical side and mental health side. But instead, it's like, how do you find ways to de-stress? How do you find ways to lower your cortisol? Like deep breathing, for example, taking the time, taking the minutes, y'all. At this point, right? We're busy, but we can take a minute minimum, right? A day. So again, I encourage you to be checking in with yourself, and then when you do, and you say, of course, we all have great days. When you have the great day, you're like, you're good. But the days, especially the days when you're like, I feel this stress kind of creeping up, then what do you like? What do you put in place for you, right? To try to work on resetting, to try to get back to balance, whatever that may look like for you. Okay. And thanks for those who are still starting to join here. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. If you're just tuning in today, we are talking about like really thinking about how are you functioning, and not just going through life, not just going through the motions, but allowing yourself to heal. If you need to give yourself permission to heal, allowing yourself to check in, right? Allowing yourself to understand that you deserve to be happy. You deserve to have joy. You deserve to be emotionally healthy. You deserve all of those things. Uh, Whatever it is for you that you need to work on, if it's affirmations, if it's surrounding yourself with positive people, if it's just taking some deep breaths, being in a place of silence, meditation, whatever it may be, maybe it's movement, maybe it's going on walks, like whatever it is for you to work on getting back into that mental place, to understand that is really, really important. Okay, so my last tip for you all today. So so I want to remind you all that I am definitely a huge advocate, like persevere, resilience, all those types of fun words, like get through, push through. Definitely a fan of it. I mean, it's a muscle, right? They always say like resilience, like just the things like mentally to be stronger, to tackle on more things. That's a great thing to have. However, don't only be in a state that I just have to push through, push through, push through at your own expense, right? Like, yes, push through. Yes, be resilient. Yes, working on being mentally stronger. And also, and also, not or, and also make sure that you are taking care of yourself and what that looks like for you. And you're taking those moments, as I said before, really, really important. So a couple things to as we wrap up here, a couple of things to really ask yourself is, um, where do I need support? Right? Maybe that's a question to ask yourself. Like, where do I need support? What type of boundaries do I need to change or put into place? For some of you, it's a boundary thing, which is okay. We're all changing and evolving, right? Over time. But some of you need to change your boundaries. And it might be with your friends, your family members, your coworkers, or whomever it is for you to protect your mental health and wellness. For some of you, you need more support in your life. That could mean friends or coworkers or someone at a place of worship or a therapist or whomever that may look like for you. But maybe that's what you need more of in your life, right? Because you do not have to do this journey alone. You absolutely positively can reach out to positive people around you for support. The other thing is, sort of asking yourself also, like, we talked about this a lot actually, the last couple of weeks, but what season are you in? Like we talked about being in the yes or the no season. Are you in a rest season? Is this your season of like, you know what? I need to just rest and be in a no season. Are you in a season where you're like, I'm feeling great, high energy. I got a lot to do, like, right? Like it's never, I don't say never, but provided it's healthy for you, we often get into this like black and white thinking like it's wrong or it's right for us. And it's like, well, no, it depends on how you are doing. Right? It like you have to make adjustments. We go through seasons, you all like you, for many of you, or for those of you who are not new to mental health moment, back in 2020, it was like ridiculously difficult time for me. I share this in the book. I've shared this in speeches. I've shared this with you all, but it was really hard. Like the loss of my mentor back then was, I mean, it still is, but it was very difficult, very dark time. And between the grief and COVID-19, like why not? A global pandemic and like all these things coming about. It can be really easy when we just have a snowball of things happening around us to only focus on that. But again, just thinking about what do you need during those times, because you're going to have the dark times. You're going to have the hard times. What do you need during that time? You're going to have the happy times. It doesn't rain forever. You're going to have the happy times. What do you need during that time? You're going to have the times of despair, the questioning, right? Maybe you're not in a space of clarity right now. What do you need during that time, right? So in each season, in each phase that you're in, you have to really ask yourself, like, what do I need? How am I doing? Right? I would say, how am I doing? What do I need? Physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, right? And then the other question to ask yourself too is like, what do I need to do, right, to make this happen, to improve my life? And again, sometimes it's rest. You might be like, I need a day off, right? Or I need an hour to myself, or whatever it is. That counts. If that's what you need, that's what you need, right? Maybe you need to call a friend, text a friend, reach out to someone, right? Or maybe I mean, there's so many things. I could go through like 300 things, but it's really about what do you need? All right. Do you need, if you believe in prayer, do you need to pray more? Do you need to meditate more? Do you need to go on a walk? All right. It's about making sure that you are connecting with what your needs are and then taking those steps, even if they're baby steps. That counts too. The last thing I'll say as I wrap up here is that when you really think about being strong, which is important, we talk a lot about resilience. Don't Being strong does not mean you have to abandon yourself, right? It doesn't mean, like, sometimes we want to wear these like superhero capes almost, right? Like, yeah, like it's just like, I'm doing so much, or I'm busier than you, or like we do this weird thing sometimes. And it's great to do things. It's great to be productive. Like, all those things are important, but also, again, like, where are you? Where's your, like, where's your energy level? Like, how's your mental health? How's your wellness? How's your happiness? How's your joy level? Right? Like, we have to also think of those things. So again, just remember that it's definitely an and conversation, right? Okay. So I'm gonna wrap up here today's mental health moment. I do apologize. I literally, for some reason, only saw one comment today. I know you all have more comments because you always do. But today was a day of, like, you know what? This platform just did not want to show me any comments, sadly. I really love when I see all your comments. So hopefully next week I'll be able to see your comments. Actually, next week is, so for those of you who tuned in a little bit later, as I wrap up here, I will just share with you. So next week I will have, um for the Mental Health Awareness Month special series and guests, I'll have Dr. Ann Hester, who is a double board certified physician. She talks about lifestyle medicine. She's going to talk to us about burnout prevention. Obviously, she has a physician point of view, which is exciting because how we're taking care of our bodies, of course, impact our mental health and vice versa. So she'll be on next week. So again, it'll be 26th, Tuesday, May 26th, 8 p.m. Eastern. I will have her here on the show. So be sure to tune in. And again, if you ever miss a mental health moment, do not forget, you can always go to Dr. Nekeshia Hammond. It's right here, right here on the screen. Dr. Nekeshia Hammond YouTube page, and you can watch all of the replays. Okay, so I think that's it. I think it's all my announcements. But you all be blessed. Take care of yourselves. I will see you all next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here live on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. Be blessed. Have an amazing week, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.